Yo, what's good, Vibers? Welcome to the very first episode of OP Power Combos. I'm hoping for this to be an ongoing series on this channel where we take a look at some of the most fun, some of the coolest, some of the most powerful power combos in the game. My goal for this video is to not only show you some of my favorites, but really to sort of stimulate your imagination and creativity to start thinking about combos in pairs and really just start to think about and consider new power combos as you're playing the game. And what would be really cool is if people ended up sharing, some of their newest or favorite combos in the comments, and then we could feature those in future videos. So diving right in, taking a look at probably my favorite power combo of all time so far, and this is Money Tree Triax. And it basically gives any champion a ranged AoE stun engage. And no one's really expecting this, and these are two powers that are pretty uncontested. Like, most people are not looking to pick these powers up, so they're pretty reliable to be able to get. And even moving into late game, these is just like one of the best combos you can get, because you can sort of instantly just have this big ranged AoE stun, and it's basically on the cooldown of throwing axe. Like Money Tree, because of it charges up. As soon as you have Triax up, you can use it again. And you can really just get this instant throw, big stun rectangle out. It's like a giant kingpin slam, basically. Not as crazy a damage, but basically the CC of a giant kingpin slam. Whoops. Basically, one of my favorites, just because of how useful that is. And especially on characters like Myth that don't really have hard engage of their own, Like, it's just really fun to be able to, sort of reliably just do that to someone. And then you can pin off of it, any heroes that have abilities that they can combo off of CC. It's just a really reliable way with early easy powers to give someone pretty easy to hit reliable CC. And the way you want to do it, you basically want to throw the tree and the axe immediately after. So if I go, see my keybinds V for tree, F for throwing axe. So if I go VF, see how even though graphically the axe is a little in front of the tree, they just hit at the same time. So as long as you just throw the tree right before the axe, you'll get that nice stun. All right, another sort of hilarious early combo that you can get is Ghillie Suit Brush Boar. And what this lets you do is basically have Brush Boar on command. Because you can turn yourself into a brush, you can instantly launch a boar out of it. So this is basically if you want boar on command anywhere without needing brush. Ghillie Suit will give you permanent, access to Brush Boar. And it's just another way to give a hunter an extra CC tool. So if you're looking to add a CC tool for your kit, like a variation of, the Triax idea is basically something like this, where, especially if you're looking to ambush, you could just be sitting as a boar and, someone rolls down this hill and you just or sitting as a bush and you just rip them with a boar like that. But anyway, it's just another cool, fun one. There's actually a lot of really cool ones with Ghillie Suit and with Brush, but another one of my favorites is Ghillie Suit Brushwhacker. And this lets you turn into a brush, basically gives you Brushwhacker on command, same idea with the boar. But now, if we move out of this brush, we're stealthed, and we have about the time till brush comes back up.
I can't do that.
This is a little gap. But basically, it'll let you sort of traverse in stealth and return into a bush, kind of right when that stealth is ending. And so just another way to kind of have permanent Brushwhacker or close to it. And another way to just ambush from the brush, hide on brush. Okay, we can also expand our brush technique outward and use Berry Eater Green Thumb. And this is probably one of the strongest power combos in the game, in my opinion, because basically what it does is give you, it's not as strong as it used to be. They nerfed it a little bit, but it's still extremely powerful. It basically gives you on command in combat healing. And so if you're fighting anyone and you have access to this, and it's 12-second cooldown is crazy for this, because it makes, look how many brushes it makes. And you can eat all these with Berry Eater, and that's going to basically give you healing in combat. And so this is just a crazy sort of self healing tool, and extremely useful for healing in combat. We can see if I take some damage up here. You're I'm having that heated battle. And you can basically just spawn brush and be almost instantly full. Without even eating all of it, and you still have more to work through, and it's only 3 more seconds and that much brush is up again. So not only can you eat nearby brush for health, you can just spawn giant things of it and just basically heal through crazy amounts of damage. So this is especially strong on characters like Firefox, like Oath, beefy guys that are in there that can soak a bunch of hits. But even on range characters like Myth, if you're looking to stay alive and skirmish more, it just has kind of crazy heal potential. to keep you alive in a lot of different situations. So one of the strongest power combos in the game right now, in my opinion, Green Thumb Berry Eater. By the way, guys, for the sake of this video, I'm just gonna like be going through normal powers. We'll probably talk about like exotic powers in like a future version of this, but I'm just kind of keeping it to like more of the accessible ones. I'm not sure why, guys. I cannot find Creep Cloner in the powers list here in Practice Tool. But Creep Cloner, is the Pokeball, the one where you can capture creeps. I don't know if I'm just like missing it or if it's actually not in here. Yeah. So basically what you want to do, a really good combo is Creep Cloner Healer, and so, or health packs. And so you can capture, see these little healer creeps with the Pokeball, you can capture these guys, and they see that shielding he just did. They'll do that shielding and they'll also channel a heal. And so you basically use your Pokeball to grab a healer guy, and then if you combo that with health packs, basically without even being a healer, you can like heal your whole team. And so if your team is like healerless, like the comp or whatever, if you're just like, solo queuing, that's like a really strong power combo to basically give your team heals in a situation where you like don't have a healer or you need like extra heals. So Creep Cloner bandages, I just can't find Creep Cloner in this powers list for whatever reason. The other thing about bandages is they bump you up like this. And there's like a crazy combo you can do with Celeste. Wings are like incredibly powerful on a bunch of different hunters, but like RJ or Bishop, Oath, Celeste all get like crazy power out of wings. And basically, every hunter does, especially if you're trying to fight over the abyss, but those especially. And like for Celeste, you can basically do this. Let's see if I can still do it. Oh. So bandages wings basically lets you like ship your ult in. So you basically want to bandage, then you want to jump shift, and that'll boost you off your bandages. Then you wings ult in the air. Let's see if I can do it first try here. I fucked it up. So I needed to wings before I ulted right there. That was like extra turbo because I had a wind ring with it, but you get the idea. You can like boost in the first person I saw do that, I think, was Mifuyu. He's pretty good at this, like shipping in. I haven't seen him play Celeste in a minute, but when he was playing her a lot early on, he's really good at like shipping in the ult with this. Something more like that. So one I really like for Abyss, like Abyss Specialist is going to be really good in general for a lot of different hunters. But this basically makes it so your first dodge over the Abyss is free. See how I still have my second shift and I just dodged 3 times? Basically, if you jump out over the Abyss and dodge, if you do it again, you see how you can basically never consume your dodge cooldown as long as you're dodging over the Abyss. So if you're fighting over the Abyss with the Abyss Specialist or like near the Abyss, as long as you're able to get back to ground with, just the one shift, the one dash, you'll literally always have dash up because this doesn't really have an internal cooldown, it seems like. So just like keep in mind, Abyss Specialist is like kind of crazy if you're even fighting like near Abyss, because of the fact that you can just basically have unlimited dodges as long as you're touching. See how you actually used one that time because I didn't touch all the way back down. As long as you touch back down on the ground after when you mantle up, you'll have that dodge back. So basically, because of that, a really cool way to use Abyss Specialist is in combo with Emergency Platform, because you can sort of leverage that idea out in the middle of the Abyss, right? And so you can just keep sort of baiting people, and you have your dodge and just instantly get it back and still have your regular too. Basically, because you are getting your free one from Abyss Specialist, right?
I can't do that.
And you can see Abyss Specialist doesn't work when your shift's on cooldown, so you need at least one charge of your shift up for it to actually kick in and give you the free one back. The other thing is, look at the cooldown on Emergency Platform. You have unlimited, so by the time it runs out, you can put a new one down. So if you're looking to actually just hang and play over the Abyss, like Emergency Platform, especially if you have like multiple of them in your team, you can create like temporary fortresses out on the Abyss and like force people to do crazy stuff to try to push you. But the other really cool thing you can do with it is if you have a bonfire, like if you pack up a bonfire for 5k, so all bonfires, when you get them in game for 5,000 coin, you can hold and pack them up right here, and they become an item, just like lets you redeploy it somewhere else, right? So if you pack up a bonfire and you have an Emergency Platform, you can literally throw it down there, and it will act as a platform itself. So now, when this Emergency Platform expires, we have a bonfire platform in addition. So basically, like, there's a lot of ways to leverage kind of this emergency platform play to like make like basically make like fortresses out over the abyss and like force people to have to push you in crazy scenarios, especially like late game when there's circles out over the abyss. I think emergency platforms look really cool. So see, now we have this permanent fire here without the platform under it. So now we can play with a platform here. And now we are starting our our aerial fortress, right? My friend has a emergency platform over there, maybe. Maybe we have fortress soul and we're building walls in the air. You know, stuff gets wild out here. And like, look, with Abyss Specialist, like this is what I'm talking about. Like you can literally infa dodge back and forth, right? Without ever using a dodge cooldown. Because there's not really an internal cooldown in Abyss Specialist. All right, so another power that also works fantastic out over the Abyss, but also just like in general everywhere is Glider Jet. And this is especially great for like chasing people down. And you can get like kind of crazy momentum with Glider Jet where like even over the regular ground, it's just like a crazy speed boost. Like if you ever watch Lemur with Glider Jet, like he's just turbo like all over the map. Because the cooldowns are like pretty short on the charges, you can use it basically over the ground and sort of accomplish like really good like chase potential on anyone that's trying to run away. And to sort of like synergize with that idea, you can take rally as well. And this is basically gonna, the big thing for rally that people don't like really use it for, that it's really good, is the hazard immunity and the slow removal. So basically, as you're chasing someone, if at any point you get slowed by anything, or if they're across lava or anything like that, you can basically rally, and not only that, it'll give the speed boost to you and like teammates around you, so you can use it for the speed boost, like especially if your team's around you as well. That's a good use for it. But I think having it for the slow removal, if you're trying to chase, actually comes in pretty clutch, and also the hazard immunity can come in clutch in like certain situations. So another one like a little more experimental that's like cool in theory, but I don't know how good it really feels in game is this, where you're trying to like imagine running someone down with Glider Jet and then like throw in a mob field, not like that, and then like throwing a mob field in front of him. It just like kind of takes too long to deploy. But especially if you're fighting against like a brawl or a stalker or someone like that, especially as like a myth, like having a mobility field is just like something you can use. Like once you throw it down, if they turn to try to fight you, you can basically use it as like protection against their them trying to like dash into you. But I like the idea of trying to like run someone down with Glider Jet and then like anti-mob field them. And like that same line of thought, like Grapple is really cool with this same setup. Like, so that same idea, but just Glider Jet Grapple. So you're like, you know, you have the movement speed of Glider Jet, you have the movement speed of Grapple, and the sort of, you can get really wonky physics where the Grapple like flings you hella far. So it's basically double move powers, but then you can also use the Grapple to like grapple someone in the back if you're running them down. So I actually think probably this one, even more than Rally, is probably like a better combo if you can get it, because it gives you like the double movement. It gives you the double movement, but then it gives you the ability to like grapple stuff if you're chasing it or like people. So really fun combo. I'm a big fan of this one actually. Grapple is also really cool with Bungee, and I think Bungee has some like underrated potential. I was talking about it in that last video I did, talking about the patch changes. I think I was playing with it more. I think they might have changed it so it doesn't actually stun anymore. Like it used to be, if I hit like Fox here and if I hit a wall, it would yank him and stun him. But see how he just bounces up and doesn't get stunned? So I think that's a change where it doesn't stun anymore. It just does that kind of like CC, but there's still a lot of cool uses for Bungee, and I think Bungee combined with Grapple, you could do a lot of cool things where your Grapple does have the root, and so you kind of use them in combination to accomplish like, you know, not only like defensive things, but also like movement things with both of them, and they can both be used offensively too. So it's like, and I think paired with like certain, you know, like abilities like that Bungee pull could be really good in certain situations, or like paired with teammates comboing it off of it, you know. But not quite as good as it used to be, I guess, because it doesn't actually do that stun.
There's an enemy here.
Grapple in, bungee him, pin him, don't miss like that. All right, so the last combo I really like, especially on like ranged characters or characters where you need extra peel, is Air Blast, Sandwall. And these basically both have like really good sort of like peel potential. And so Air Blast is great at like creating space. Like if a brawl or a Jin is someone like gets up on you, But Air Blast can also be used for things like it's really good for like defending against Celeste ult. Like if a Celeste like ships one in, you can use Air Blast to like bump her back. Um, it's got kind of like a lot of different little like niche use cases that make it really useful for peeling. So Air Blast just like a good one to pick up defensively on like I really like it on Myth. Um, and then Sandwall is like the same basic idea, except we're using it more for like projectiles instead of for like space. So Air Blast is like getting stuff off of us or like pushing stuff away. Sandwall is like projectile block. Like basically think of it as like a big shield against projectiles, and it's also like CC on like anything it passes through. So like imagine I am in a duel with like a Shrike, right? And she hits me with that first shot, and so I have the mark, so she knows if she like hits me again, I'm probably gonna die. I'm like still trading with her, right? And she thinks if she gets this next shot, she wins. So she's like lining it up and maybe not paying attention to the fact that I'm chunking her. Well, right when she thinks she's gonna get it, I sandwall, I block it, and she's in a rough spot if I've just been trading with her because she has to wind up a whole nother shot to try to, and that mark might have fallen off by then. So it's like really good to play, like sort of time it against characters like Shrike. Basically, any projectile you're trying to block, Sandwall's the play. So this combo just gives like a really feel good balance between like having that like push peel combined with like the projectile wall, and complements like range characters, especially like really well, I think, that need peel against that stuff. Boom, that's all I got for this one. Like I said, I just want to basically like get you guys started with some cool ideas. Would love to hear power combos that you guys are trying out in the comments. And I'll be trying some of those if they're cool, and potentially be like featuring those in future versions of video like this. So, and I think there's like really just like a lot of untapped potential with like powers and how you can use them together and how you can use them with your abilities and how all that like differs in different situations. So really encourage you to just like start trying all the powers, start trying to think of cool combos yourself, and we'll all become super awesome at using all these cool powers. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to take care of yourself and keep vibing. Catch you in the next one. Peace.